Hello everyone. Thank you for joining me with another video. Sukinode here, bringing you a Pathfinder, well, the next part in the Pathfinder playthrough. Hope everybody's been doing well, having a good day, and having a good week, and being safe. Let's go ahead and get back into our story. Last time, we had just finished basically kicking the crap out of a portion of the Stag Lord's bandit army. We sold a bunch of stuff, got leveled up, and I actually had I had gone to sleep with the character, intending to just save there, but it actually, the moment you go to sleep, you immediately proc the next portion of the story, and you talk to a nymph. I still have that. I do have that recorded. So what I will actually do is just put it at the end of this video. So if you want to watch it, you can. If you don't care, you don't have to worry about it. But basically, the spirit of a nymph, and in this game, the way the nymph is portrayed is that she is basically a land spirit, and she's taken the form of a nymph. And she's speaking to you in your dreams and asking you for help in defeating the Stag Lord because something has happened to where it has created a unnatural mist in the stolen lands that is choking the life of the land. It's actually sapping her strength. It's basically slowly killing her. So not only do we have agreed to go ahead and help her. So not only do we need to defeat the Stag Lord so we can take over the stolen lands, we also need to defeat him so that we can save her. So let's go ahead and make our way downstairs. What's up, Lindsay? A halfling girl with tousled hair, wearing a dusty traveler's outfit, sits chewing the tip of her quill. Just a moment. How should I put this? Oh, I know. She scribbles something quickly in a notebook, scrawled with verse, raises her eyes, and gives you a bright smile. Oh, hi. Let's see. Tell me about yourself. You come from Patax, right? Tell me about it. Tell me about that book you're writing. What's the deal with the ring you always wear on your finger? Leave and do not return. I don't want to ever see you again. 6. I have to go. So number 5, the leave and do not return. I don't ever want to see you again is basically your way of kicking people out of your party. If there is a character you just don't even want sitting there, pick that option, and they're gone forever as far as I remember, and no, they are gone forever. Which isn't really, I don't think, that big of a deal because everyone you get can just sit. They sit as like a sub party member, so you don't have to have them in your main party because you can only take 6 people in your main party. Everybody else just kind of sits back at the. Everybody else just sits back in the stolen lands after you've taken it over. I think. Once we get there, we'll see. But I would assume. I don't think there's any reason to ever do this unless you literally just don't even want to deal with seeing that character. Tell me about yourself, Lindsay. What do you want to know? Where are you from? I'm from all over, haha. I was actually born in Galt, in such a tiny village that is not even on the maps. If it weren't for my teacher, I'd still be living there. Milking goats, weeding turnips, swilling homebrew, having babies, and using books only as kindling. Who was your teacher? He's a true saint. He was once an important person in the capital at the Church of Shaylin. I'm assuming that's Shaylin. But he got in trouble with the authorities and went on self-imposed exile to the tiniest, most god-forsaken, priestless village he could find. The one where I was born. He wanted to open up a school, but the villagers wouldn't let him. You can heal us all you like, but no putting any ideas into our children's heads. It's only distract them from their work. But he did teach me on the sly. He taught me how to read, how to write, and he gave me books. Poems, legends. Yeah, that's actually written poems, legends. He was the one who told me about the Knights of Avistan, and when I told him I was going on a journey, he gave a magic ring. I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be he gave me a magic ring so that Shaylin would protect me from harm. I haven't seen him since I ran away from home. I hope he's alright. I ask Shaylin every day to grant him a long life and new students. Let's see. Knights of Avistan. Who are they? Oh, you haven't heard of them? How can you be a hero without knowing one of the most epic stories in the history of stories? No, I won't spoil anything. You should just read about them yourself. Every single chapter. Their adventures are what gave me the idea of going on a heroic quest and writing about it to begin with. And now, look at me. Here I am, on a heroic quest. How did you become a bard? When I realized there was nothing for me at home besides more radish patches, I decided to run away. A traveling book peddler, Tesai the Quill, happened across our village. Well, I stuck to her like a burr and wouldn't let go until she agreed to take me as an apprentice. Together we traveled everywhere, to Brevoy and Taldor and even Ustlava. And when I found out about the Academy of Grand Arts in Patax, I thought, well, I love reading stories, so I can surely learn to write them too. I enrolled on my first try, and they even gave me a scholarship. Then they expelled me, haha. But that's okay. They already taught me all the important stuff, and now with Shaylin's help, I can manage on my own. Now, I don't know how this story ends. I have not watched videos of a playthrough from beginning to end, so really my knowledge of this story is only up to us building the stolen lands into a kingdom right after the Stag Lord. I have not gotten further into story than that, but the fact that she was trained in Patax at the Academy of Grand Arcs, uh, Grand Arcs, Grand Arts, wouldn't it be something if it turns out that Tartusio actually wasn't the traitor the entire time? It was Lindsay. Like all the evidence goes Tartusio because he gave us the ring. He tried to frame us. But what if that was because he actually thought we were a spy? So, or he was told that we were a spy, or his information, the information that he had about us, thought that we were the spy trying to interrupt everything. And it turns out no, Lindsay was the spy the entire time, and she picks the perfect moment to betray you. That would be a really good twist. I get the feeling that's not the way it's going to happen, but that would be a really good twist. Let's see. Do you worship Shaylin? Yes, not to offend the other gods, but she's the most important of them all. All the other gods guard the world as it is, but only the eternal Rose, the goddess of beauty, calls us to the world as it should be. Hmm, what does that mean, calls us to the world as it should be? Why are your clothes so messy? Lindsay waves her hand carelessly. Forget it. I can't waste money on looks. I'd rather buy books instead. In 100 years, when people are reading my works, they aren't going to ask whether the author had holes in her sleeves. Let me ask you about something else. You come from Patax, right? Tell me about it. Oh, I love Patax, even though they kicked me out. A joyful place. What is life in Patax like? Actually, Patax has always been one huge nest of thieves. Bandits, river pirates, smugglers, fences, card sharps. It's always been home for the likes of them. But that was before Irivetti became king. With him, a whole different life began there. Irivetti always wanted to make history, but not as another bandit with a crown, though that's exactly what he is. Haha. He wanted to be glorified through the centuries as a great patron of the arts, so he built the Academy of Grand Arts and spent lots of gold to assemble the best artists, poets, and musicians. Of course, the very best ones refused to go, but he got what he wanted in a way. If Patax was once just a booze barn for thieves, now it's a cabaret. What do you know of King Irivetti? He won his crown in a game of cards, which says much about Pataxin as it does about him. He's fiendishly clever. Some cheats I know told me that from the moment he appeared, he started pulling off such schemes that the old city masters just scratched their heads. With him in charge, gold flooded into Patax, and also he's incredibly, unimaginably, fantastically decadent and conceited. What Greek god does that remind me of? The god of wine and festivities, Dionysus. That makes me think of Dionysus. Getting drunk with hordes at the pub, that's not Lord Irivetti's style. Oh no, he aims higher, dressing up like a male Calistria with a golden codpiece and holding a 3-week orgy with dancing on the rooftops, parades, public executions, and a contest for the best ode to the great unrivaled king. That's more like it. And that makes me think of Gold member from the what are the movies? Give me a moment. Let me see if I can think of this. Uh um The Spy Who Shagged Me. It's like right there on the tip of my tongue, and I can't get my mouth to pronounce it. Uh, I can't remember. Darn, I can't remember. I hate that I can't remember. I'll look it up later and put it up on the screen. He also likes singing. Oh, and he orders his guards to make the citizens gather for his shows. May Shaylin have mercy on his listeners. Tell me about the academy you studied at. You know, jokes aside, I'm thankful to Irivetti for building it, but he has no taste at all, whatsoever. He likes his art loud, bright, grandiose, and most importantly, glorifying his royal highness. He kicked out the best charcoal artist because he didn't wish to spend money on gray scribbles. He sacked a masterful flute player from Tianza for playing too quietly, and instead ordered them to open a kettle drum class. He even ordered the academy to expel me, and for what? An innocent limerick? Hmm. Would you like to go back to the academy? Okay, would you like to go back to the academy and finish your studies? I'd like to return, but on one condition. If they threw out three-quarters of the professors who teach there now and returned all the ones they banished. If you ask me, I'm proud to have been expelled. If my art was to Irivetti's liking, then I would have reason to be ashamed. Let me ask you about something else. Tell me about your friendship with Tasai the Quill. What's there to say? The books woke my urge to travel, but it was only thanks to Tasai that I managed to really get out of my village. At first, Tasai tried in vain to get rid of me, but later, when I told her I was staying in Patak, she even shed a tear. I wonder where she is now. What's the deal with the ring you always wear on your finger? Ah, this. Lindsay holds her arm for you to get a clear view of the ring. It was a gift to me from my first teacher. It's magical, imbued by the powers of Shaylin, no less. When I get myself in trouble, it transports me to a safe spot. So, please don't be angry with me if I suddenly disappear from a fight. I'll wait for you here. Promise. What did I say earlier in these videos? That Lindsay is not the one who is going to be the last one standing in a fight covered in the blood of her enemies and breathing hard, right? No, she's literally got a ring that if things go bad, she's gone. Okay, I have to go. Just don't leave without me. Of course, I could just write whatever you tell me, but if I wanted to stay cooped up in a dusty room, I'd still be sleeping through the lectures at the academy. Don't worry, Lindsay. We're not going anywhere without you. You're the heart of this group, Lindsay. You're the heart of it. Svetlana, good day. I hope you're feeling alright after that battle. I can't thank you enough for what you've done. I definitely don't want to waste your time, but if you have a moment, I have a request. What did you want to ask me? Svetlana lowers her head. This is a very personal request and maybe not important enough for your time. I'll completely understand if you say no. But the first time the Stag Lord's thugs came here demanding money, they also took my wedding ring. Just tore it off my hand. It's just a trinket, really, but it meant so much to me. I remember every moment of the day Oleg came to me, that ring in hand, to ask if I'd marry him. I was standing in a fancy dress on the stairs of my father's home, fearing that I'd misheard something, or that I'd say something stupid and everyone around would laugh. Svetlana interrupts herself, shaking her head gently. If you happen to find my ring among the bandits' possessions, please bring it back to me. It's easy to recognize. My name is engraved inside the band. Svetlana drops her eyes, lowering her voice. There is one more thing. Among the bandits, there's a dark-haired woman who wields dual axes. She's not bad in a fight. In fact, she can be extremely dangerous and cruel. But please, I beg you, show her mercy if you have the chance. Let's see, I'd be happy to help, Svetlana. I can't promise anything, but if I do come across your ring, I'll return it to you. I have more important things to worry about. I can't promise anything, but if I do come across your ring, I'll return it to you. I understand. I appreciate any effort you put into it. Tell me about yourself. How did you and your husband find the courage to establish a trading post in the stolen lands? What can you tell me about the Stag Lord? So we'll hit number 2. It was Oleg's idea, though I supported him in it. We didn't realize how dangerous it was here, of course. In Restov, everyone respects the sword lords, and everyone's accustomed to relying on them. Even the mention of someone like Lady Jamandi could be enough to fend off a street thug or some other trouble. It could maybe even work in some places here, but not with the Stag Lord's men. You know, I believe that. After what we've seen Jamandi capable of, I can understand if someone was like, yeah, if you start something with me, Lady Jamandi will hear about it, and someone going, yeah, it ain't even worth all that. It's like calling in a nuclear strike for two toddlers who were squabbling over a toy. It's like, yeah, no, it's not worth that. It's okay. Let's see. What can you tell me about the Stag Lord? He's not just some average bandit. If no one puts a stop to him, he'll turn the stolen lands into his personal kingdom, a kingdom of fear and oppression. So we have choices of our alignment. So we have lawful good. It would be a kingdom of lawlessness. Once I've dealt with the Stag Lord, your life will improve. Chaotic good. I like adventures, but I definitely prefer the ones that involve stopping villains and helping people. Lawful evil. Fear always follows power. It would be naive to think the Stag Lord is so much different from any other ruler. Chaotic evil. In life, you either inspire fear or cower from it. I prefer to be the one who's feared. And five, I'll deal with the Stag Lord, have no doubt. So I assume number five is our neutral option. My character is basically chaotic good, so we're going to go with the chaotic good option of I like adventures, but I definitely prefer the ones that involve stopping villains and helping people. I can't thank you enough for the hope you've given me, but please be careful. The Stag Lord is extremely dangerous. What did you want to ask me? I have to go. Farewell. Now, the thing about the girl with the dark hair that she asked about with the dual axes, I don't think I've ever been able to save her. I think I've done maybe 3 or 4 playthroughs up to a certain point, but every time I get into a fight with her, I've never been able to save her. So I think what you have to do is you have to stun her, kill everyone around her so she'll surrender. I think normally one or two of my characters ends up killing something so quickly that they immediately go to her and then they murder her. So we'll see if we can hit her with like a hideous laughter or some kind of spell to keep her out of the fight so we don't kill her. See what kind of dialogue options we get from Svetlana if we're able to save her. Anariel, 8 Eyes, an adventure in a tavern. The elf looks straight at you through the tangled hair falling over her face. Hey, you're an adventurer, right? Seeking your fortune in stolen lands? You aren't the only one of your kind here. Take my advice. Keep your eyes open and watch your back. Sometimes the ones who call themselves your friends are more dangerous than your enemies. Judging by the elf's voice, it's obvious that she started the day with a jug of wine. Who are you? I have to go. Who are you? The elf grunts. Anariel, 8 Eyes. Once upon a time, I was famous throughout Absalom. Anariel, 8 Eyes of the Reckless Six. Well, glory passes quickly. A few miserable decades later, and no one recognizes you on the street anymore. What a shame. Why are you called 8 Eyes? Once long ago, I could spot an enemy and pin him to the wall before he could even think of attacking. Some said I had 8 eyes and looked all around at once, though it seems I've outlived my nickname. Anariel stretches her arm forward. Her palm trembles noticeably. I've been drinking so much lately, it's best I don't test my skills too often. Where were you when the trading post was attacked? I was hunting. Got a little lost in the mist, which is the first time that's happened to me. I guess I should go easier on the drink. But don't you imagine I'd be scared of a good fight. If only I'd known I was missing all the action. But I see you've got everything under control. I wonder if you get Anariel as a party member later on. I've never gotten her, so if you do, it's after you beat the Stag Lord. Oh, it even gives you the option. Would you like to join me? No. I've got enough things to do already. You're better. You're better manage. You'd better manage on your own. A famous Pathfinder here in the middle of nowhere. Why? I want to know more about the Pathfinder Society. A famous Pathfinder here in the middle of nowhere. Why? You want to know how one could exchange the life of a Pathfinder for this sorry drunken rat hole? The light in Anariel's eyes goes out as if someone had blown out a candle. You lose all your friends because of one scumbag, and then you'll understand. I was the only one to return from the final campaign of the Reckless Six, and whatever is left of me can't be called a secret anymore. I mean, you named your party the Reckless Six. I don't know of many D&D parties that survive very long being reckless. it, like usually people give you these nicknames for a reason. So if they were being called the Reckless Six, it's probably because they were doing stupid reckless shit, but they were lucky enough to come out ahead and on top. But if someone keeps calling it, like if someone nicknames you Quartz Death McGee, don't be surprised when you're in a situation when you're about to actually die. No way out. You're about to get killed. And then don't go, "Oh, well." And be like, "I can't believe I'm about to die here." It's like Anariel remained silent for a long time, as if wondering if she wishes to poke the old wound. Here's the story. Our leader, Vermel, was the best of us. Wise, brave, friends with everyone. One of those friends, Adavian Adjacent, sent him a disturbing letter. He'd stumbled upon mention of some ancient books on the art of necromancy. Secrets like those are best left hidden forever. Trust me, I've seen what that kind of magic can do. The elf bites her lip. To make a long story short, these volumes were supposedly hidden in the catacombs of Gallowspire. We decided that the books should be retrieved and kept safe by the Society. We gathered in a tavern, discussed the expedition, then proceeded to Utslava. It was a normal mission, a quick and quiet recovery. Anariel smiles bitterly, but everything turned out to be much more complicated. We barely made it through the Witchgate Forest. All those terrible living trees, undead druids, and their arches of bone. It was a miracle we managed to make it out alive. And it never occurred to you to turn back at that point, huh? To just be like, fuck this, we're going home. We'd chosen Renchurch to stop at. It was marked on Vermelt's map as a safe enough haven to hole up in and lick our wounds. How I wish that had been true. Vermelt was the first to perish. He was attacked by one of the monsters hiding in the stables. It tossed him about like a feather and threw him down an ancient well. His shout echoed for a long time, and I didn't hear the sound of him landing. And then Anariel pauses and turns away, hiding her eyes. Enough. I shouldn't have gotten into this. Who am I to stir up others' feelings with all my chatter? We better forget about it for now. Maybe I'll tell you more some other time, but not today. So apparently they were going to bed down in what they thought was a safe place, and then they basically got ambushed. Okay, I get it. I want to know more about the Pathfinder Society. What exactly are you interested in? What is the purpose of the society? It's a school of adventurers. We search for those who are eager to test their skills, and we educate them and give them ideas about where on Golorian they might seek their fortune. They look for forgotten knowledge, secrets, and lost artifacts. They are explorers and pathfinders. We're a sort of mutual assistance club for adventure lovers. We exchange experience, share knowledge, and keep careful records, in case it proves useful to future expeditions. And also we publish books for thrill seekers, and bored urban teenagers from wealthy families. It kind of sounds like the Masons or a union in a way, but that's kind of what it reminds me of. You could also just call it a guild because that's pretty much what guilds do. Um, what kind of members does the society have? All sorts of adventurers. We have representatives from all races, religions, and beliefs. The Grand Lodge is in Absalom, and there are many smaller lodges throughout Galorian or Galarian. Yeah, Galarian. And the venture captains direct pathfinders to their goals from across all the corners of the world. There are many renowned heroes in the society, and many scoundrels as well, whose service to society has brought them fame. We'll talk about this later. Not going to worry about her story. Regarding her story, I'm going to leave that alone. I have to go.
All according to plan.
Gonna talk to some more people. Let's see. Bokken. Bokken frowns as he ostentatiously examines the nearest wall, hands in his sleeves. Without turning to you, the old man finally says in a dull voice, "You want some potions? Show me what you have. Can I help you in any way? Remind me what you do here." Can I help you in any way? Bokken glances at you, suddenly interested. Well, since you're asking, there's a cave nearby. I used to pick berries in there, but the place has been overrun by spiders. The berries are red, look a lot like raspberries. Fangberries, I call them. I'd be real grateful if you gathered a basket of them and brought them back. Just be quick if you do. They spoil quickly. FangBerry Cave has been revealed. Those spiders in the cave are mean. Here, let me give you some alchemical fire. Crafted it myself, burned those spiders to a crisp. That will teach them for taking over my FangBerry Cave. I also need a bucket of moon radishes. They are a rare, mysterious plant. I don't know where to find them, but I know that kobolds gather them and value them highly. So moon radishes. Why do you need fangberries and moon radishes, Bokken? You want to know, huh? Well, I'll gladly tell you after you bring some to me. Alright. Alright, I'll try to help. Bokken glances at you hopefully. Just watch out, alright? Don't end up someone's lunch. God forbid, man. When everything in the world wants to either kill you, rob you, or eat you, possibly all three, and not necessarily in that order, eh. Remind me what you do. I should go. Talk to Oleg. Oleg Levington. Greetings. Oleg seems to be in good mood and greets you warmly. You certainly ruffled those villains' feathers. Well, anyway, new day, new troubles. Have you seen the fog? Never seen anything like it before. The road to Restov looks like someone spilled milk and it just hung in the air. I couldn't see anything through that soup, not even with a torch. Feels like witchcraft to me. I'd bet the Stag Lord's involved somehow. Rumor says he deals with all kinds of bad magic. Tell me about yourself. I need to take care of the Stag Lord. Do you know of anything that can help me find him? Tell me about the Stag Lord's gang and any other bandits operating in the area. So, I need to take care of the Stag Lord. Do you know of anything that can help me find him? That's quite a task you set yourself on. The Stag Lord has a fortress somewhere in the area, but only a few chosen from the most trusted of his rabble are ever invited. The location of the fortress is a heavily guarded secret, and with this fog hanging around, I'd imagine it would be even harder to find. What else can you tell me about the Stag Lord? Not much. Not like I sat down and shared a cup of wine with the man, you know? But I think he arrived in the Stolen Lands less than a year ago, from what I've heard. But soon he got here, he took over everything. I wrote the rest off, tried to warn them that the Stag Lord wasn't some typical gang leader, but they didn't listen. The rumors about him are horrible. He'll kill a person if they so much as disagree with him. He never reveals his face. Those who've seen him up close report the same thing. Ugly scars over every inch of his skin, not covered by his clothes. I could ask him to tell me about himself and why he opened a trading post, but I really don't want to go through that story right now. We'll speak another time. Farewell. Harem, my man, what's up? Harem pulls his beard, muttering something that could be either prayers or curses. Upon noticing you, he winces. Hey, what? Ah, it's you, Tsukinode. Did I startle you? I'm sorry. Oh no, that doesn't matter. I was just contemplating the futility of existence, the worthlessness of the universe. The ways of Grotius are great. My humble mortal mind cannot fully grasp them, but I do what I can. Harem smiles apologetically. Tell me about your past. I like to learn more about the dwarves. I like to talk about your god Grotius. You wish to learn about Grotius? Harem seems surprised and pleased at the same time. Yes, of course. I will answer anything you ask. What are Grotius's teachings about, in a nutshell? Grotius is the end of all that exists, Harem smiles. He obviously has been waiting for this question. Look around, Tsukinode. What do you see? Look again and realize that everything will be destroyed. Our clothing and our armor will turn to dust. The walls of the palaces will crumble into ruins. The trees will fall, and you and I will die much sooner than that. Grotius is a timeless watcher. He's been locked away by Pharasma, the goddess of rebirth, from her boneyard. He watches over the world, knowing the time for the final reaping shall come. He's the bloated moon hanging in the sky. He's the harbinger of the last days. He's the one who will stay when all others are gone. Why does Grotius sound very much like an evil god? if he was just if he was just the embodiment of the eventual like heat what is it, heat death of the universe, if he was just the embodiment of entropy, the inevitable end of all things, why would another god feel the need to imprison him? Because when you think about it, if you are the embodiment of the inevitable end of all things, all you have to do is wait. You don't have to do anything. Everything is going to end and there's no way to stop it. So the only reason I can think of anyone trapping you or imprisoning you is if you're doing something to speed that along. Let's see. Pharasma has Grotius locked in her boneyard, so she is stronger than Grotius? Of course she is stronger. For now. Harem nods with dignity, stroking his beard. Grotius is weaker than Pharasma and many other gods. I would be a fool if I tried to claim otherwise. If Grotius were stronger, the end times would already have come, wouldn't they? Okay, so no, Grotius is literally trying to usher in the end times, which is why all the other gods are like, yeah, you gotta go to jail, dude. Usually clerics can speak with their gods. What does Grotius say to you? What is his will? Harem shakes his head in resignation. Grotius doesn't speak to his clerics. Actually, Grotius doesn't need any clerics. The dwarf raises his sad eyes to you. He only allows his whispers to be heard, and only by those who are dying to hear them. His words are unclear, but they call to you. His voice comes with the soft rustle of fallen leaves, with the woeful wailing wind at the mountain pass, with the roar of the raging blizzard, and it calls you to strike out on the road. Onwards, always onwards, over the pass, over the bridge, and further along. Up ahead, where the edge of a gray robe flashed and a candle sputtered for the last time before dying. Onwards, always onwards, until your feet can no longer carry you. Harem falls silent, submerged in his own thoughts. See, this brings up an interesting question, because it feels like it's being implied that if Grotius were the stronger of the gods, he would have ushered in the end of all things, and that would have been the end of it, right? Which means that he is trying to do that. Which means that wouldn't his clerics also be trying to do that? Because when a cleric follows a god, they're basically promoting the ideals of their god. So it's weird that the clerics aren't like Harem's a cool dude. He's not trying to really hurt anyone, right? He's like, well, it's all going to end eventually. I don't have to do anything. But so that feels odd that there's that contradiction there. Thanks for telling me about Grotius. I've learned enough for now. Harem. Then let me ask you, what do you think about Grotius? I like your tales. There's an inner truth to them. It was interesting to learn about him. No more, no less. To be honest, I don't want to have anything to do with him. I'm gonna go with number 2. Harem nods in contentment. I'll be glad to talk to you about Grotius any time, Tsukinode. After all, that's why I travel in your company. Let's see. I want nothing to do with you. Leave. Thanks for the conversation. I'd like to talk to you about your... I'd like to learn more about the dwarves. Most dwarves are self-satisfied, stubborn fools serving Torag. They don't deserve my good attitude, Harem winces. You can ask what you want to know. I'll try to answer. Tell me about the 5 Kings Mountains. The Dwarven Kingdom, yes. Well, it's to the south from here. It survived many trials, and there will be more yet to come. Harem strokes his beard, contemplating. There is no unity among the dwarves, Tsukinode. The 5 kings rule over our people. They sit on the throne of the 5 greatest cities, and with every passing day it grows harder for them to come to any agreement. The only thing uniting the 5 kings' mountains is the sky citadel of Harem, the great dwarven fortress at the mountain's heart. Have the dwarves always lived on the surface? Oh no, eons ago all dwarves lived deep beneath the surface, and they did rather well, judging by the historic records. They built fortresses befitting noble dwarves, but our restless god Torag sent us a prophecy, the quest for the sky. He ordered all the dwarves to abandon their fortresses and press upwards, to show their beards to the sun, as they say. This journey was long and bloody. Many dwarves perished on the way. Others turned back, keeping to their ancient strongholds, eventually to turn into evil Dwargar, gray dwarves. But those who survived reached the surface and founded the Sky Citadels, the most glorious cities in dwarven history. That's interesting that their god told them all to seek the surface, and those who decided that it was too dangerous to do so and stayed behind turned into evil dwarves. Huh. Tell me about the Sky Citadels. Oh, they are the peaks of creation, glorious cities built by the ancient dwarves who'd finally reached the surface after many hardships, performing the final labor in their quest for the south on the surface of Golorian. Harem's eyes glitter with admiration. They are steadfast, tall, magnificent. They are beautiful. The 10 citadels were built by dwarves, but we've managed to keep only a few. The citadels crumbled, and the orcs, sworn enemies of our people, trampled their blessed streets and ruined the gorgeous palaces of the ancient kings. Harem's eyes grow misty with tears. These were heavy losses, and a disgrace to our people, Tsukinode. Harem is the jewel of the citadels that remain. It is located in the heart of the mountains, and the heart of every dwarf. Yes, yes, my heart too. There is a dwarven saying that if an enemy reaches Harem, every dwarf from all the corners of the world will come to defend it. Harem casts a sad glance at you. I'd be there too, but not to help the Citadel's defenders. I'd be there to witness the fall of our people with my own eyes and mourn it. I would fall upon the cold stone and raise my final prayer to Grotius. I have some other questions. Okay, I think we're done. Thanks for the conversation. We'll talk later. Harem nods with dignity. I'll be happy to continue our conversation later. Alright, so that was Harem. I believe we are
In
looking
due time.
for Amiri now. I think she's over here too. Yep, there she is. Swinging that huge sword. Amiri, what's up? What's shaking? We're gonna talk. Amiri, we're gonna talk. Amiri utters a weary sigh. All right, spill it. I'm listening. We're just talking. You don't like it? Tell me about yourself. There's a formidable sword, but it's not just a simple weapon, is it? I don't need your help anymore. Pack your things and leave. Thanks for talking to me. Let's speak again later. We're just talking. You don't like it? Amiri shrugs several times, perhaps flexing her muscles or maybe just filling in the silence. Dunno, she admits at last. Depends on what we're going to talk about. If it's about monsters or swords or scars, I approve. That's good. And if you're going to ask questions like why and what for and how, screw this. Amiri looks you over slowly, head to toe. Or you got even harder ones. Let's see. That's a formidable sword, but it's not just a simple weapon, is it? You bet it's not simple. Check out how big it is. She proudly raises the blade, and you notice that even though Amiri is extremely strong, she still has difficulty wielding such a large sword. This sword belonged to a real blasted frost giant. I killed the beast and took this looker for myself. Fits me perfect. My damn trophy. Amiri's eyes flash with menace as if she's challenging some invisible enemy to try taking away her trophy. Tell me about yourself. This simple question seems to puzzle Amiri. She scratches her head, then starts counting on her fingers. First, I'm a barbarian. I'm strong. I grew up in the realm of the Mammoth Lords. I left my tribe, the Six Bears. Amiri looks thoughtfully at her four bent fingers and shrugs. And I like fights, she concludes, bending her thumb. You know, that we've already heard Amiri's voice actor talk, and while she does a great job as Amiri, I when I reading this, I keep thinking of like what are the words I'm looking for here? This is off the top of my head, so I may not be factually correct here, but I keep thinking like what like jeez, what would even be the proper time frame? Like 18. Yeah, I want to say like 1850s or 1860s Chicago. I keep thinking like I keep seeing in my mind like a little street urchin girl who's an orphan who's had to fight on the streets all her life. So she doesn't really like talking. She doesn't really talk good. And I feel like she should have a really strong sort of what would be considered a country or down south accent. So, and I know where Chicago is, and I know, but I keep thinking she would have like a, well, you don't say, and oh, I don't want to talk about, like, I don't know why. I just feel like that's her accent. uh, but, oh, did I miss some stuff? Hold on a second. Okay, yeah. So, what's it like to be a barbarian in the Six Bears tribe? Ha! Our people are big and strong. We can cut a monster in half with one swing. We can walk 3 days and nights with no rest. We can eat a whole fried oryx. I guess you had to do a lot of training to become as strong as you are. Training? Ha ha ha. No one freaking trained me. The boys of the Six Bears got the training. All I could do was watch. Amir's eyes gleamed with anger. And you know what? They were still crap even after all that training because I kicked their butts hard. Animals, bandits, monsters, all thought they were stronger than me. Idiots. Amir spits on the ground. Because if you start a fight, you think you can win, you think you're stronger than your enemy. Amir raises her chin proudly. I defeated them all. See all the scars on my face? What does the realm of the Mammoth Lords look like? Huge and freezing. No place for weaklings. Amiri narrows her eyes as if evaluating your ability to survive her homeland. Tribes hunt oryx, herds survive. Oryx are fast, so tribe follows herds for days just to not die of hunger. If you are weak, you stay behind and die in the snow. Tribe cannot stop. She also reminds me of like Ice Age, the age of man during the Ice Age, right? Just chasing down woolly mammoths the entire time. Why did you leave your tribe? Amiri flushes. 'Cause they were assholes, all of 'em. Men were cowards and scoundrels, and women were scared like sheep. Amiri rolls her bloodshot eyes in fury. Men, men there think no girl can be a fighter because they are weak. They are afraid a woman can beat them. And females just nod, go sew hides, cook meat, watch kids. That's what they always say. But I'm a warrior, damn it. I won't cook hides and watch meat. Amiri is already shouting, her fist clenched tightly. I told them so. I went hunting with men, and what did I get? Still the same. You are a woman. You stay home. Even gave me a nickname, the Soft Chieftain, like a warrior woman was a funny joke. Damn, I even went to hunt those shit-faced frost giants, and there, Amir suddenly stops, breathing heavily, sweat beading on her forehead. After a moment, Amiri waves her hand awkwardly and forces herself to grin. So I left. Cowards, scoundrels, and sissies they were. That's why. You're quite a good fighter. Amiri jerks her head up. Quite good, huh? Compared to who? If I was a crappy male, I'd fight better. Is that what you say? She glares at you, her eyes narrow. Or you say I could be better. Like, go get some training, Amiri, right? Let's see. Lawful, neutral? I meant exactly what I said. You're quite a good fighter. Don't raise your voice to me ever again. Chaotic good. You are very good in a fight. You're an excellent warrior. I've just given you a compliment, that's all. Oh, just relax. Forget I said anything. And chaotic good nature, so chaotic good. For several more seconds, Amiri continues to glare at your face with suspicion. Then, all of a sudden, she mellows. True, I fight good. That's what I do best. You're rather rude, you know. You bet, Amiri grins and suddenly frowns. I'm a fighter, big and strong. Everyone's afraid of me. I can't play the softy. Who would ever fear me then? this actually brings up a really interesting thought process, right? And just hear me out on this. So, with the current social climate, and I'm not going to go too far into it. We have the words toxic masculinity. You know, boys fight and they roughhouse and they portray really bad masculine tendencies. Well, what she just said would be considered a bad masculine tendency. Like you're rude and you're aggressive and you're always being very abrasive, but no one would fear you if you weren't that way. So it brings up the interesting question of a woman who is raised that way, would she be any different from a man if she was raised in the same way? Is it nature versus nurture, or is it really just that set mentality? Because it's one thing for her to have become strong so that she could beat those around her. It's another thing for her to feel like she has to always put on the aggressive face in order for people to fear her, because by fearing her, that's how she gains respect. So, just the thought process. And I may not have said that exactly the way it is in my brain. I do have a tendency of doing that, but that's the thought process. Well, thanks for telling me. Let's talk about something else. Tell me about yourself, why you leave your tribe, that's the foremost sword. Thanks for talking to me. Let's speak again later. Talking. Will we do some monster killing instead? Amiri sighs and turns away. Well, we're about to go kill some spiders. Okay, so we have talked to everybody. We have progressed stories. So can we just leave, or is there something else that we need to do? Actually, let's stop for a second. You wake up from a nasty dream that tortured you almost all night long. In it, you saw a wall of unnaturally thick fog that surrounded you, slowly moving closer and closer. A quick look out the window, and you find out that the fog was not a figment of your imagination, not a dream. And then,
Hear me. Please hear me. Can you hear me? Please.
her voice is barely more than a whisper as she reaches towards you. It seems that only you can see or hear the nymph. Who are you? I'm glad my adventure begins with such a beautiful sight. What do you want from me? Begone, spirit. I've had enough of you. Who are you?
Who am I? Just a tear shed by the land itself. The bitter sigh of nature. I am a nymph, the guardian of this area. A defeated guardian. Call me the guardian of the bloom, if you wish.
I'm glad my adventure begins with such a beautiful sight.
Beauty is so tender. It can so easily be crushed under the blows of cruel fate. But you can save it from being undone.
What do you want from me?
Aid, salvation. We have a common enemy, and long have I searched for someone who can defeat him. The one you call the Stag Lord. As a storm strikes ruthlessly with gusts and lightning, the Stag Lord wreaks havoc with the swords of his servants. And not just in the world of people. The land also suffers from the evil he brings. My forests and my flowers suffocate in this fog. Soon even I will vanish, as the last ray of light fades at dusk.
The Stag Lord is responsible for the fog? How can I help you? Begone, spirit, I've had enough. The Stag Lord is responsible for the fog.
It hides his fortress as well as his dark deeds. But while responsible, he did not create this affliction. It is the work of a powerful druid who has betrayed even himself. I know not why the powers did not leave this renegade, but even I was unable to defeat him.
How can I help you?
This fog, it enshrouds, entangles, suffocates. If only I could learn how it was created. But my powers wane. I have barely the strength to call out to you. All I know for certain is that somewhere in this forest lies an old house, and it echoes with the remnants of a strange power. The Stag Lord and his druid were there. The fog hides this place from me, but I can point you to the bandits' camp near the Thornford. Make them tell you where this place is. Go there and listen to the echo, catch the whispers, search for anything that can tell you how the fog was created. Once the fog clears, nature will breathe again, and you will be able to easily find your way to the fortress of our mutual enemy.
Okay, game 45 experience. Alright, I understand. Farewell. I understand, but I don't trust.
I
I'm
don't
suspicious.
believe in fate, stranger, but our meeting seems more than a coincidence.
Always question everything, everyone. Just always. Always be suspicious of everyone. That's why I say Amiri, I like her, but she's kind of an obnoxious brat.